Hello guys, please excuse the rain. It is right now relentless in the UK. Let's focus on today's video, which is going to be old school fragrances that I still feel are relevant in this time and age. By old school, I'm going to say for this video that definition needs to be at least a fragrance that came out more than 15 years ago. Would you consider that as an old school definition, guys? So that means any fragrance that came out, we're in 2024 now, so any fragrance that came out 2009 or before is now considered old school. Is that fair or unfair, guys? Do you feel old by me saying that? We're covering 8 fragrances today, guys, from a variety of decades and a variety of styles. When I say that they're still relevant, I basically am saying that these are timeless fragrances. These are what you can consider as classics, and hopefully by watching this video, you'll want to check them out. Let's begin. Hey guys, if you don't know already, Atrium Fragrance, our own fragrance brand, will be releasing our office fragrance titled Mr. Elegance. It'll be the next release coming out in January 2024. However, this release is only available as a pre-order for 5 days in the last week of January for a maximum of 400 bottles. To make sure you do not miss out on this release, click in the description down below to be notified of when it's going to be available so you can acquire your bottle. Thank you. The original Paco Rabanne 1 million. Now, I've hated on this fragrance in the past. I don't think it's a very relevant fragrance in terms of clubbing, but I actually just think most people will enjoy wearing this fragrance in general. It's not as loud as it used to be. It's been reformulated, but it's still a really pleasant fragrance DNA. So I think this came out in 2008. I think it was, revolutionary at its time. I think it was pretty much the first bubblegum-esque kind of fragrance, which kind of means a fruity fragrance with amber-esque qualities with also clean musks in there. And then of course Paco Rabanne's Invictus really lent heavily on the bubblegum style. But 1 million, the original, is sexy. I think it's just a really nice evening fragrance to this day. It has really good notes like mandarin, orange, I think it has grapefruit, that's Jeremy Fragrance always talks about. It has leather, it has ambers in here. It just smells really sexy, sweet, vanillic as well. It's just, well, actually more of an amber fragrance than vanillic, but I think it's just a very sexy, sweet scent in general. I just think it smells distinct. It's a classic kind of smell. Of course, there's lots of clones, but I say save up, get the original stuff. It's worth it. There's a reason why this doesn't really go down in price in terms of discounts, because it's probably still sells so well for Paco Rabanne, which kind of shows how timeless it is. I don't think it's the best option for clubbing nowadays, but just to appreciate perfumery, I think this is pretty solid. Do you guys agree or disagree? This might be a controversial one on this list. Versace The Dreamer. Now, editor, please let us know if I'm right. I think this came out in 1996. Am I correct or not? I'm being tested here with these dates, guys. Versace The Dreamer is affordable. It's artistic, it has sentimental value, being the last fragrance made by Gianni Versace before he passed away, before he got assassinated, I believe. And it has a really cool, unique DNA. Nobody else really has recreated a kind of scent profile like this to this day. It does have a slightly old school feeling to the musks used in here, but it's a nice musky tobacco, lavender, floral DNA. So it has that really interesting smoothness and creaminess from the tonka bean, but it has a little bit of that ruggedness from the musks and the tobacco in here, so it kind of balances out. It kind of smells very ethereal, flowing, and artistic, and it's a really nice signature. It's a versatile thing you can wear for both the daytime and the nighttime, and it lasts around 6 to 8 hours, which is all pretty solid for a £20 fragrance. Maybe the price has gone up a little bit, maybe inflation has destroyed the price tag of this as well, but I think for a cheapie, Versace The Dreamer is just a really cool scent to own, and I think it's going to be one of those polarizing scents. Either you love it or you hate it, in my opinion. But for some guys, it's going to be a really good signature for you. 32% of people who watch School of Scent are subscribed to us. If you guys want to see our channel grow, to really help us out, click subscribe. Let's get that number to 40%. Thank you. Tom Ford's Oud Wood. So I believe this would be considered old school, because I think this came out in 2007. Can you believe it, guys? If you smell Tom Ford's Oud Wood today, you wouldn't think it came out as an old school fragrance, because it really does smell super modern. It just doesn't ever feel like it'll ever be outdated, even though it does use synthetics in here, but it just feels like a really timeless and sexy, sharp, clean, musky, synthetic oud fragrance. It is synthetic oud done in an extremely sexy way, quite masculine, green, forest-like, with a hint of sweetness in the dry down to smooth it out, make it really sensual and inviting. It's a really sexy signature in general. I think you can wear in the office, wear it to parties, dates. You really just vary the number of sprays you go for each situation. I know the reformulation has reduced the projection a little bit. It doesn't smell as rich as it used to, like this golden sticker bottle I have here. But I still think even modern formulations are worth checking out. You'll probably love them. Test out the longevity in your skin. Dior's Fahrenheit Eau de Toilette. One of my all-time favorites, could easily be a contender for a For Life fragrance. This came out in 1988, I want to say, and I think this is just a revolutionary fragrance. People don't appreciate that this is the cause of a lot of your favorites now in modern perfumery that use a lot of isoe super, which is a very prominent woody molecule used in fragrances to create a very mass appealing scent profile. This was the first fragrance to experiment with really using high doses of that and showing perfumers from all over the world that you can just kind of go liberal with isoe super and really inject it heavily into your scent DNA. Fahrenheit is a timeless classic because nothing else smells quite like it. Not even the Fahrenheit Parfum, which you can tell is a flanker, but it's a completely different approach to Fahrenheit, so it's not redundant to own both. The Eau de Toilette smells fiery, as I say, petrol-like a little bit in the opening, but not too much. I think the reformulations have probably toned down that aspect quite a bit, but it smells fiery, leathery, woody, masculine, really handsome. It could be a bad boy fragrance, it could be a professional CEO fragrance. So it has versatility and a really cool signature style for the kind of man who wants to pull something like this off. You must try Fahrenheit, in my opinion, if you're a collector, and see if it's something that clicks with you. Dior Eau Sauvage Eau de Toilette from the 60s. Either in 1964 or 1966, let's see if I'm correct. But again, I'm putting all the Dior fragrances in one section because Dior has repeatedly revolutionized the industry several times throughout its long lineup. I mean, this introduced Hedione, which is the other mass appealing molecule you find in all modern perfumes now. This was really the fragrance that introduced that as a high proportion in fragrance formulation, so similarly to what Fahrenheit did with isoe super, Eau Sauvage, Eau de Toilette did it with Hedione as well, which gives it an airy, bright and mass appealing scent DNA to most of your fragrances. Now, don't forget also if Dior revolutionized fragrances with, like Dior Homme, the original, also brought iris into mainstream men's perfumery. Sauvage Elixir made all the fragrances copy Dior and released their own elixir. So, you know, the brand is quite good for revolutionizing things. Eau Sauvage Eau de Toilette is a very traditional barbershop white floral lemon fragrance. If you want to experience traditional gentlemanly perfumery, but you don't want it to smell outdated, because a lot of 60s fragrances can smell outdated. Let's say like the corresponding fragrance might be something like Chanel's Pour Monsieur Eau de Toilette. That smells super outdated. I don't recommend that fragrance. But this actually, I got this for the Dior buying guide recently, and it still stands the test of time. It's a really cool, gentlemanly, clean signature that lasts about 6 hours that you may be surprised by. If you're a refined gentleman who wants to smell super crisp and clean every day, I still think this is relevant and you should check it out. Carolina Herrera's 212 Men NYC. I've said it before, I believe this is correct. This is the first fragrance to ever have a magnetic lid, which is cool, guys. Revolutionary. And I just think, you know, this is made in 1999, I believe, and this is a very sexy fragrance. This kind of also stands the test of time as a sort of shower gel-esque fragrance. It's got grass notes in there, and people get scared when they hear, you know, you're gonna smell like grass, but actually it works really well here. I think this is a super mass appealing fragrance. I think it's probably a very safe blind buy, actually. That's how much confidence I think you'll have with the green notes in here. The green notes are not off-putting at all. They're not challenging. It's a nice, youthful, shower gel-esque fragrance by Carolina Herrera. It's probably still one of their top sellers. I can see why people will still buy this. It just smells like a very fresh and clean, 10 hours long-lasting fragrance, usually for an affordable price. If you can find it on discounters, this original 212 is a masterpiece in my opinion. Super nicely blended, smooth, clean, green, and masculine. And it's just a dumb reach fragrance. If you want a dumb reach fragrance, especially you younger guys, I'm always recommending this fragrance for a reason. Creed's Green Irish Tweed. So, when did this come out? I'm gonna say 1987, and then I think Davidoff Cool Water came out in 1988, both made by the same perfumer. Apparently, Cool Water's formulation was meant to be what Green Irish Tweed was meant to be originally, but then apparently Olivier Creed, one of the Creed families, made him release this formulation early, ahead of time, because they said, oh, it's good. And I think it's a great fragrance, so you know, that bullying tactic, you know, provided a great product at the very least. I can't condone it, but you know, it is what it is. That's the history from what I've heard. I can't confirm it. It might just be rumors, who knows. But Green Irish Tweed is a classical, mature, green, soapy fragrance. If you want a thick, clean, ambergris-based, musky green, yeah, it's sort of like Springfield kind of scent, like a springtime feel, sort of like you are in Ireland, I think it really does match the name beautifully. It's very clean, It almost has an aquatic touch to it because it does remind you of cool. I think your brain kind of gets confused a little bit, but it does have that cleanliness to it. It's a super great, serious, but still sexy, elegant, mature signature. One of the best from Creed still to this day, and it gets you around 10 hours longevity with, you know, medium projection and great wearability in all seasons. What do you guys think? Do you think Green Irish Tweed is the best release in Creed currently? And finally, Chanel's Allure Homme Sport, the Eau de Toilette. Now, let me get my dates right. I think the original Allure Homme came out in 1999, which is a good fragrance, but unfortunately quite weak. I think it's been heavily reformulated. And then Allure Homme Sport came out in 2004, and then Versace Pour Homme. So this was made by Olivier Pulch, and then I think Versace Pour Homme, which was made by Alberto Morillas, I feel like definitely took heavy inspiration from this fragrance. That's why a lot of people say they smell quite similar. And that came out in 2006, I believe. So 2004 is a long time ago. That's now what? 20 years ago? That's definitely an old school fragrance. But you smell Allure Homme Sport, it doesn't smell old school at all. It smells like the era of modern perfumery. Creamy, clean, aquatic, airy perfumery, almost very ozonic. And it's a very beautiful and easy to love spring and summer DNA. I think you can wear this all year round for the workplace in general. I think this fragrance has gotten me a lot of compliments from what I remember. And I think it's probably my favorite Allure Homme overall, if you include performance. If you don't include performance, an addition blanches might be my favorite scent-wise. But yeah, this is a great performing 8 hours long-lasting fragrance. Very airy, very easy to love. It probably has a huge amount of head now, so let's thank Sauvage Eau de Toilette for this, because it smells just super airy, like really light and just easy to love. So I think if you haven't tried this, a lot of people like to focus on Eau Extreme. That's what got a lot of hype in the community, but I think that the original Allure Homme Sport is better than the Eau Extreme. I think this is the one you should try out. That concludes this video, guys. I don't think we've ever done this topic on this channel before. I thought it'd be quite a cool idea to make sure that the classics do not get forgotten. Don't get me wrong, there are some fragrances that are old and smell old. They smell outdated. You know, I'm not very politically correct when it comes to some of these things, guys. But what do you think? Do you think fragrances don't go outdated? Do you actually think, you know, everything is a timeless classic? Maybe you just appreciate all styles of perfumery and you think it's wrong to say something smells outdated. Do you agree with my choices I made in this video today? And do you have any fragrances that you would consider old school, which is, you know, 15 years plus ago? Do you consider any of these kind of fragrances as timeless classics that are still relevant today? Share your thoughts and comments down below, guys. Make sure to check out our previous video on mature fragrances. I'd give a perfect 10 out of 10. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.